Sponsored by Reynolds Wrap today. Good morning! Where are they at? They're in Wisconsin today. Wisconsin and Michigan. In Wisconsin.
Gameday, live from Madison, Wisconsin.
But how's everyone doing? How's everyone doing?
College football's premier pregame show.
Seriously, would you have it any other way? No, they wouldn't. At noon Eastern time, 11 local kickoff for Wisconsin against Michigan. The Badgers with an opportunity to make a statement. And these folks...
How is everyone doing today? Good morning. Hey, Sean, Greg, Koppel, Maine, Clem Tyner. Good morning. So what y'all watching today? This is one of the worst Saturdays for big games in a while, I'm not gonna lie. There's not a whole lot to get excited about today. I mean, I know everybody's going to watch their own team play, whoever that is. For me, that's Georgia at 3:30 at home against Kentucky. It's senior day for Georgia. So a lot of damn good dogs playing their last game today ever in Sanford Stadium. And four in particular, David Bellamy, Lorenzo Carter, Nick Chubb and Sony Michel. You know, those four guys came back this year. All four could have went pro last year. They all came back. So I'm real happy for those guys that Georgia's had a good season this year. I'm catching a lot of hell right now from that Auburn loss. But the reality of the situation is, Georgia's 9-1 for the first time in forever. Since the early 80s, since we've had a record like this late in the season. So no matter what happens at this point, it's already been a good season for Georgia, and it can only get better. Of course, got to take care of business today at home against Kentucky. I think they will. Like I said, senior day, 3:30 kick. I'm glad it's not a noon kickoff, 3:30 kickoff. I think Georgia comes out, takes care of business today. Georgia Tech next week. Anyway, other than that, not a whole lot of good games today. Miami plays Virginia. I talked a little bit about that during the week. I don't expect Miami to lose that game by any means at all. Virginia is not a good team, and Miami is very, very good. But it is possible Miami has a little bit of a letdown today after two huge games the last 2 weeks at home at night against Virginia Tech and Notre Dame. Turn around this week and play a nobody team like Virginia at home at noon. I'll be interested to see what the stands look like in Miami. I give Miami fans a lot of crap. Their attendance is piss poor. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. I know all the reasons and excuses they give, but the fact of the matter is Miami's attendance is just abysmal. The last 2 weeks, they've shown up down there, had good crowds, loud crowds. I'll be curious to see what it looks like today with a noon game against a nobody. Wisconsin and Michigan at noon. It's probably the best game of the day. If you're one of these teams that for whatever reason wants Wisconsin to lose a game this year, this is about your last chance right here before the Big Ten title game. I don't think Michigan can win this one. Not enough offense, I don't think. I think this will be a pretty low-scoring game, but I think Wisconsin wins it. LSU and Tennessee play at 7 o'clock tonight. That'll be okay to keep an eye on tonight just because it's fun to watch Tennessee continue to lose. Also, I don't think I've talked about this very much on video, but Tennessee fans, every time they have a bad year, which is a lot over the last 10 years, they always brag about the same thing. Tennessee's one of only 2 major programs in America that's never had an 8-loss season, Uncle Lou. We've never lost 8 games in a year. Well, guess what? You're sitting at, 6 losses right now? LSU today, Vanderbilt next week. You could easily lose both those games and have your first 8-loss season. So Congratulations, I guess. Look, if the best you can do is brag that you're only losing 6 or 7 games and not 8, that's sad and pathetic. So we'll see if Tennessee catches another loss today. I'm pretty sure they will. Home game for Tennessee, but I don't think it matters. And then, of course, Georgia at 3:30. But anyway, tell me what y'all are watching today. Will Florida upset UAB? That's one to keep an eye on, too. Now, the wheels have completely come off in Florida. I mean, the last 2 weeks, Florida has looked as bad or worse than at any time under Will Muschamp. And if you remember the Will Muschamp 4-8 season where they lost to Georgia Southern, this looks a lot like that. It would not shock me for UAB to win that game, and I'll be keeping an eye on that one, too. Just to see if Florida can crap the bed against UAB. And that just gives people like me another trash talking point to use for years and years to come. I don't care how bad you are. If you're an SEC team, you've got no business losing to UAB, so we'll see what happens. What time is that Florida game at? Somebody let me know. I can't remember. Is that a noon game? I'm guessing that's a noon game, but somebody let me know what time that Florida UAB game is. Mizzou and South Carolina major contenders for the East next year. I would say right now South Carolina would probably be picked second in the East next year. I'm not sure about Mizzou though. Oh, thanks Thomas. That Florida game's at 4. Okay, so yeah, Florida game's at 4. I won't be able to watch much of that game. Then I'll be watching the Georgia game, but I'll flip over. I'll definitely keep an eye on the score and flip over during commercials. And if it's at 4, then the Georgia game should end before the Florida game's over. So hopefully if UAB is winning or it's close, I'll be able to catch the end of that one. Does Troy play UAB, battle of the 2 SEC powers? That would be a good game, right? Clemson wins the state championship today. Was that you? I've seen that comment in the comment section. Was that you that put that? That's a good one, yeah, because Clemson, of course, playing... They playing the Citadel, what beat South Carolina a couple of years ago. So, yeah, this is for the state title. I'm telling Clemson fans, though. Now, obviously, Clemson fans are going to be talking trash about South Carolina. I don't blame you, man. It's like I talk trash about Georgia Tech all the time, too. I get it. But I have a feeling that Clemson-South Carolina game is going to be a good game. I don't know if South Carolina can beat Clemson, but it's at South Carolina this year, right? If I'm Clemson, I'm a little bit worried about that game. I don't expect Clemson fans really to admit that, especially in this type of forum where it's like a trash talk deal. But if I'm a Clemson fan, I would be a little bit concerned about that South Carolina game this year. I think that has the potential to break a lot of hearts this year, but we'll see. My score prediction on today's game, WizKid football, is Georgia 38, Kentucky 13. Now, having said that, I want us to throw the ball today. I would rather win this game by 7 points and Jake Fromm have 30 pass attempts. I think we need to develop some type of a passing game to give us a chance in Atlanta in 2 weeks, and I would like to see us take these next 2 games against Kentucky and Georgia Tech to try to figure some of those things out, work on some quick release type throws, whether it's slant routes, quick hit route, 5-6 yard hook route, something. We need a quick passing game. No matter who we play, Alabama or Auburn, they're going to get pressure on Fromm. We need to develop a quick passing game. I'd like to see us work the tight ends over the middle some. We haven't seen that really all year. So I think if we come out with a game plan like we had the first 2 months of the year where we just run, I have a feeling we can beat Kentucky pretty easily, 38-13. But I don't really see how that helps us prepare for Atlanta in 2 weeks. So I'd like to see us work on our passing game today, and if that means we only win by 7, 10, 13, something like that, I'm okay with that. Florida's winning today, finally. Maybe. We'll see. Obviously, Florida is a better team than UAB, so we'll see what happens there. I see some people talking about the helmet giveaway. I don't know if some people on here might not know about that. That's AJ Green, an autographed mini helmet. I'm giving that away today, but that's a Facebook thing, not a YouTube thing. Also, I'm very busy all the time and important. to everybody that's won something, and there's a lot of you. I gave a lot of stuff away over the past month or so. Everybody that won something, with the exception of whoever wins this helmet, everything is getting mailed out Monday. Everything is in. All the UNCLELOU hats, all the UNCLELOU shirts, the Nick Chubb jersey. I just got that in on Thursday. I'm just waiting on today to see who wins this helmet. And then I'm going to the post office on Monday. I've already blocked out an hour worth of time on Monday. And I'm going to the post office, and everything is being mailed off Monday. So if you've won anything from UNCLELOU over the last month, it's being mailed out on Monday. And and speaking of winning stuff and giveaways, somebody actually gave UNCLELOU something for a change. Hold on one second. I got to go get this and show it to you. Hold on one second.
College Gameday, Jim Latta has a remarkable and heart-wrenching story of the 14-year-old son of Navy's offensive coordinator and how he has become the inspiration to the mission.
Regardless of what happened today on the field, today's the win. You're adjusters.
Did you miss me? Of course you did. Check this out now. You ready for this? Check this out now. Huh? Huh? Look. Look. And it's game worn too. Game worn. Now, I don't have any clue who wore it now. But since I don't know who wore it, I can just make it up. So, Nick Chubb wore this. Yep. Nick Chubb game worn glove. Yep. Or whoever else. I make it up. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So shout out to Joseph S. Who sent me this. Thank you, sir. I've already thanked him personally, but I'll thank him publicly. LSU wins 48. Yeah, that game, I don't expect that game to be close at all. Tennessee and Florida in the same boat. Both have just completely given up. They're in the hurry up and wait mode, waiting for next year. That's pretty much all they can do. Chip to Florida. It looks like that's a possibility. We'll see. I certainly hope that happens. I think it'll be a disaster for Florida, so I certainly hope that happens. Ohio State 56, Illinois 3. Yeah, that game won't be close. No point in watching it. Clemson will struggle to win against Citadel. I doubt that. Why is Alabama so average? Well, they're missing a bunch of starters on defense. They had another defensive lineman yesterday break his foot, had to have surgery. He's out for the year. Jalen Hurts can't complete passes. Jalen Hurts is JT Barrett 2.0. The list goes on and on. But yeah, pretty average Alabama. 7-point win over Mississippi State. The other two good teams in the SEC, Auburn and Georgia, each destroy Mississippi State by 30-plus points. So, it just is what it is. Yeah, Tennessee fans are sick on this John Gruden thing. There was a live stream on Thursday of some idiot at the Knoxville airport live streaming the airport because some Tennessee plane was landing there, and they just were sure John Gruden was going to get off that plane wearing a Tennessee hat. And there was 4,000 idiot Voltards watching a live stream of an empty runway. Plane lands, not a soul got off the thing. It was one of the funniest things ever, but Tennessee has put all their eggs in the John Gruden basket. It's not happening. He's just not coming to coach at Tennessee. But again, if he would, I would absolutely love that. It would be a disaster of epic proportions. The guy has never recruited a day in his life. He's never been a head coach in college football. He hasn't coached anywhere on any level at all in almost a decade. He wasn't that good of a coach when he did coach. His record is barely above 500 all time. So I think it would be a great hire for Tennessee to make in terms of everyone else in the SEC, but it would be an epic disaster at Tennessee. And if you believe the rumors you're hearing that they're trying to give John Gruden 10 years or 7 years, 70 million, 7 years, 70 million, that means you're stuck with that man for that whole 7 years. That buyout will be so high you won't be able to get rid of him. So, after 4 years of him going 7-5, 6-6, 7-5, 6-6, you won't be able to fire him and make another bad hire. You'll be stuck with the John Gruden hire because you won't be able to afford the buyout on that thing. Somebody said John Gruden wants a raise. That's all it is. They said, well, if John Gruden doesn't want the job, how come he doesn't just come out and say he doesn't want it? That's not how these things work. He's going to use this interest from Tennessee against ESPN to get himself a raise. I don't see him going to Tennessee, but like I said, if he did, it would be, I would love it. I would be ecstatic. Who's worse, Tennessee or Florida? Well, they did play earlier in the year when they both had head coaches. Both thought they were going to have a good year, and Florida won on the Hail Mary. Now, it was one of the worst college football games I've ever seen. Neither team looked any good, but Florida did win the game. But when you win like that on a Hail Mary, it's hard to say that makes you automatically the better team. And people get mad when I say this, but you can look at the Georgia-Tennessee game from last year. I don't think that Tennessee was necessarily better than Georgia last year just because they hit a lucky Hail Mary at the end of the game to win. Those two teams last year were pretty evenly matched, Georgia and Tennessee. You could probably say the same thing about Florida and Tennessee this year. Pretty evenly matched. So. Yeah, good morning. Blackout, I don't think so. It would be a surprise to me. Usually we do blackouts for night games. Of course, this isn't a night game, so it looks like no blackout this year. I had been told by some people that the plan, if we were going to do a blackout this year, was going to be for the South Carolina game, but when that game got moved to 3:30, that plan was nixed. Now, first half of the season, every game we played was at night. Kirby doesn't like to do the blackouts in the first half of the season because of the heat. That's what he said anyway. So people were pointing to that South Carolina game this year as a potential blackout game, with it being the 3:30 CBS game. That didn't happen. Again today, 3:30 with Kentucky. So my guess would be no blackout this year. Maybe we do it in the bowl game like we did back in. What was that? 2007 Sugar Bowl when we wore the blackout jerseys, but I don't know. My guess would be no blackout this year. Who do you think Tennessee will hire as head coach? I really don't have a clue who they'll hire. I don't think it'll be Gruden, but I do think there's plenty of other possibilities out there. Dan Mullen from Mississippi State, P.J. Fleck from Minnesota. I think they would be stupid to not at least talk to Scott Frost. I don't think he would take that job. I think he wants the Nebraska job, I think, possibly the Florida job. But I think they would be stupid not to at least talk to him. I don't know this guy's name. It's escaping me right now, but the head coach of Memphis is somebody I would talk to. The head coach of Iowa State, what's his name? I think his name is Matt Campbell. Iowa State head coach. I would talk to him. I would talk to Jim Bob Cooter with the Detroit Lions. I think Tennessee could get a decent coach. I just don't understand why they're so hung up on John Gruden. Gruden couldn't hold Saban's jockstrap. I agree. Look, being a head coach in college and being a head coach in the NFL, those two just don't correlate, okay? They just don't. The NFL is all about X's and O's, okay? Every team in the NFL is filled with elite players, even the Cleveland Browns. In the NFL, you can out-scheme people. You have to. And to me, that's what John Gruden is. He's an X's and O's guys with his Spider 2Y banana and all this crap, right? In college, you're not out-scheming people. Not for the most part. In college, The team with the best players tends to win. And if you don't believe me, just check the recruiting rankings every year, okay? There's a reason why teams like Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia, I could go on and on, are good teams every year. Not winning the national title, but good teams every single year. And it's because they're constantly recruiting top 5, top 10 recruiting classes. The best players win in college 9 times out of 10. Your job and Paul Feinbaum and Tuberville were talking about this on Feinbaum yesterday. Your main job as a college coach is to run the program, shake hands with boosters, make good hires on your staff, hire good recruiters, work with the NCAA, understand all these complicated rules and stuff like. You're not out scheming people, generally speaking, in college like you are in the NFL, and I just don't think John Gruden would be a good college coach. Your team is Louisiana Monroe. Well, God bless you, sir. South Carolina fans calling Clemson irrelevant is embarrassing. Yeah, it's hard to call anybody irrelevant that's ranked in the top 10. But by all means, you're definitely free to your opinion there. Free to have your opinion. Do I think Cade Mays and Salyer will commit? Salyer's all dog. Jamari Salyer, to me, one of the best offensive line recruits in the last 10 years. And it was pretty much down to Georgia and Clemson. He had an official visit scheduled to Clemson. He canceled it. He said he's not going. He's done with the visits. So his last visit was to UGA. I think he's all dog. I expect him to announce sometime in December. He's all dog. Cade Mays, I'd love to get him too. He's a good player too. I'm not as convinced that we'll end up with Cade Mays. But Salyer to me, Jamari Salyer to me, is 100% dog. It's just a matter of time.
Like Jimbo Fisher is being wooed by his former bosses.
Where are you going for Thanksgiving, Lou? I will be going to my parents' house for Thanksgiving. They live here or close to here. So I'm not going out of town or anything. My in-laws are going out of town. My in-laws have some family in West Virginia, so my in-laws will be going out of town. I think they're leaving Wednesday, and my daughter Luann is going with them. Lou Jr. I think is going to stay here. Lou Jr. is a daddy's boy. He doesn't really want to go anywhere without his daddy, so I think Lou Jr. is going to stay here. So me, Mrs. Lou, and Lou Jr. will do Thanksgiving at my parents' house this year. I'm definitely watching the Egg Bowl, Ben. The Egg Bowl may be the most exciting college football game of the season this year. Those two teams always hate each other, and this year they have a lot more incentive to hate each other with the whole NCAA thing and Mississippi State ratting them out and yada yada. I mean, there could be that game could turn into a brawl in a hurry. When we gonna get Lou Jr.? What did that say? Hold on. When we gonna get Lou Jr. on to pick some games? Lou Jr. used to come on LouTube with me all the time. A couple of years ago, especially, he was on a couple of times a week. As he's gotten a little bit older, he's not as interested in it as he used to be, and I don't like forcing it. I don't like forcing it on him. But anytime he wants to come on, I let him. I tell you what we'll do. He's out of school all next week, and there's a lot of good games next week. It's rivalry week, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Clemson, South Carolina, Florida, Florida State. All those games are next weekend. We'll get Lou Jr. on sometime this coming week to give his thoughts and predictions on some of those games. So that's a good idea. I'll get him on one day this week. Gators going to a New Year's Six bowl? No, Gators going to no bowl. Does Lou Jr. like college football? Yeah, I mean he's only 8 years old, so it's hard to get him to sit down and watch a whole game. It's hard to get him to sit down for 3 hours for any reason at all. He's 8, but he does like football and college football in particular. He can tell you 4 or 5 players' names on the team. He always asks who win, even if he's not watching the game. He'll come in every 15 or 20 minutes or whatever and ask me what the score is and stuff like that. But he's not old enough to where he'll sit down and watch a whole game yet. What's the big news? Well, I guess I'll talk about it a little bit. But good morning. They were just asking about you, sir. Come tell them.
I don't think Chip Kelly to me is as big as a home run.
Y'all ask Lou Jr. and he comes outside. Something serious.
I would kick the tires and test Bob's.
Here he is. Hold on.
Yeah, at any Florida specifically or anywhere? No, Tennessee, Florida. I think he's too young to retire. He's 57 years old. He has a lot of coaching left, and he ran a really good program down in Norman. He's well respected. And I believe he's going to want to get back into the game. So I would
Tell these people good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Off the radar, but an excellent.
They want you to pick a winner today. So let's see. All right. At 12 o'clock, Michigan is playing Michigan is playing Wisconsin. It's at Wisconsin, and Wisconsin is favored to win. Do you think there's any way Michigan can pull the upset and knock off Wisconsin, or do you think Wisconsin gets the win? Well, tell them. Don't you whisper. Tell them.
Michigan.
Hey, Lou Jr., get off the chair. Lou Jr. picked Michigan on the upset there. I'm not too sure if I can go ahead and agree with that, but Lou Jr. is an expert. Now, Georgia plays Kentucky today at 3:30. Georgia's favored by about 21 points. Everybody knows Georgia's going to win, right? Do you think Georgia wins by more than 21 points or less than 21 points? More? Don't tell me. Tell them.
More than 21.
Tell them who your favorite player is.
Sony Michelle.
Sony Michelle. The man picked a winner there. He really did pick a winner. Now, next week... All right, here we go. How about this? South Carolina. What do you think about them?
Oh, you want to get that one? Not leaving that on.
What?
They're not good.
They're not good? Why not?
We know that Harbaugh will be on the sidelines here. Camp Randall.
They're
There's no
good.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's no time soon.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is South Carolina?
Got the snow slowing down
Eight.
for us?
An 8 out of 10? 8 out of 10. That's actually about probably pretty accurate.
But we're going to handle the weather over here without heated blankets or heaters on the demo field. And coming up next on College Game Day, we're going to see how
They're girls basketball school.
The man says South Carolina's a girls' basketball school. You heard what the man said now. Oh, do they see your hat there? Let me show them your hat. You see, how many of y'all got your own hat sent to you by somebody? See? Get off the chair. Somebody sent that man that hat because they love Lou Jr. like that. So, what do you want for Christmas this year? You got to talk where they can hear you, dude.
Four-wheeler.
A four-wheeler. What else?
Josh Rosen or Sam Darnold. NBA Saturday Night Hoops, a closer look at James Harden's historic hot streak.
You don't know? Why are you so shy today?
Oh, a hoverboard.
Oh, a hoverboard. He wants a hoverboard. A hoverboard, a four-wheeler. Anything else? No? Well, one of them, we'll get somebody on here to send you the four-wheeler, and we'll get somebody else on here to send you the hoverboard. How about that?
This is the JD Power Award for
All right.
dependability.
Anything else you want to let them know?
Friend that you
No?
think is
All right.
most dependable.
Tell them to have a good morning.
Good morning.
He's acting shy today. I don't know. Maybe because he wasn't prepared to come on. I don't know.
But it's a tough choice.
But you can just leave that sitting right there,
Makes
dude.
it a little easier, 'cause it's
I'll
the
put it
only
up for
brand
you.
to earn JD Power dependability
Dun,
awards from
dun,
all
dun.
Oh yeah, look, come hit him. Come stand right here and we'll tell him. You don't even have to come back on the thing. Just stand right here and tell him. Now, this is his favorite thing to say right here. Now, y'all listen to this right here. Now, you ready? And if you're a Carolina fan and you want to sing along, because you know the y'all's little fight tune or whatever y'all do, then feel free to sing along with Uncle Lou and Lou Jr. You ready, sir? Mm-hmm. Dun 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 dun.
South Carolina sucks.
Woo! All right, buddy. I'll be in a little bit, okay? Yeah, go ahead and tell you South Carolina sucks there. Squid Tard. Vanderbilt! Let's see.
We create machines that make every experience more real, because the best feature of a PC gaming machine
What ranking do you think our recruiting class will end? We're 5 right now, and I have a feeling that we're going to finish somewhere around there. Somewhere between 3 and 6. I know we still have some recruits that we're going to get, which you would say, well, that's going to bump us up. But so do the other teams, too. Okay? And the team you really got to watch out for, and I know a lot of people are dogging them if you follow recruiting, Alabama's ranked, I think, what are they ranked? 23rd, 24th, something like that right now in recruiting, which is unheard of for Alabama. But they only have 11 players committed right now, okay? So that means at least 10 more they're going to get, and they're going to all be 4 and 5 stars, I promise you. So Alabama will still finish, if I had to bet, Alabama's still going to finish a top 5 team, if not number 1. But Ohio State, Miami, going to be hard to pass them right now. I think they're 1 and 2. Georgia, of course, sitting at 5. Georgia is the highest, has the highest recruiting class of any SEC team right now. The only team I see possibly passing them would be Alabama, depending on who all they sign. Georgia just picked up a monster this past week, and this kind of came out of the blue. At least for me, it did. But I've told you before, I'm not a recruiting expert, so maybe some of you other guys knew about this kid. I didn't. And his name escapes me now. He's from North Carolina, defensive tackle. Dude is 6'6", 330 pounds. Just a monster. Which is good because we're losing, John Atkins. I think we lose him this year. A lot of people don't talk about John Atkins a lot. His stats aren't going to blow you away. He's our nose guard. But this guy eats blocks. I mean, this guy, he's one of the reasons Roquan Smith and Natrez Patrick have all these tackles, okay? You need big block eaters on that defensive line. And this guy that we got, 6'6", 330, is a 4-star out of North Carolina. Looks like he could be the next, like, John Atkins type. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, 6'6", 330. Tennessee's going to upset LSU. I don't see that happening. I really don't.
7 on ESPN, presented by Capital One.
Oh, the big news. Yeah. Nothing has been finalized yet. Basically, okay, you guys know I put my email in the description of all my videos, right? Well, you can imagine I get a lot of weird emails sent to me, okay? Not just from trolls, but people wanting me to do stuff. A lot of times it's a scam, and it's real easy to tell that right away. Other times it's just things that I would never do. I'll give you an example. Some watch company contacted me, and they wanted to send me a bunch of free watches, but like twice a week or something in my video, I would have to show the watch, talk about it, and I'm not. I said no, I'm not doing that, and whatever it was they were going to pay me, and then free watches, and I just said no. I said I'm not turning my channel into a commercial for your watches, whatever. So anyway, I get a lot of crap like that. Well, about a week ago, I got an email from such and such casting agency, blah blah blah.com, and I was like, oh, here we go again. And before I reply or anything to any of these emails, if there's a website or whatever, I'll check it out. And I checked the website out, and it looked legit. It was a casting agency. They had it was a casting agency that does casting for different things, and they had videos on their website of commercials and TV shows and things like that they had done casting for or whatever. So I said, okay, I'll contact them back. So I did, and this lady called me from this casting agency, and it was a casting agency who had been hired by an advertising company. The advertising company had been hired by Coca-Cola. And basically, Coca-Cola was wanting to make a commercial, a college football commercial, about tailgating and grilling and all the stuff that goes along with college football and tailgating. and how great it is to drink Coke while you do that. That was the idea Coke had for this commercial. They hired an advertising agency to develop the commercial. The advertising agency hired this casting company to fill the roles in the commercial, and the casting company, that's who was contacting me. So I looked into it. It looked legit. So I called the lady back, and it was legit. She worked for a casting agency. Coke's making a commercial. She found me on the internet some kind of way. She said, I'm guessing it was YouTube, and they were interested in having me appear in that Coke commercial. So I talked to her for a little bit. I asked all the key questions to make sure it was legitimate, and it was. And so anyway, they scheduled a Skype call between me and 2 or 3 people from this casting agency for a couple of days later. So I said, okay, that's fine. So I did that interview, which was really weird because I'm not an actor. And I said, look, I'm not an actor. I said, I don't know what you guys think you're getting with me. I said, but I'm not an actor. If you want an actor, you have to hire an actor or whatever. And she said, no, we want you. So anyway, the Skype call happens a few days ago, and she talked to me for a few minutes, and then she was like, okay, I'm gonna describe a scene, and I'm gonna be this character, and you're that character, and I'm gonna say these lines, and I want you to say those lines. And anyway, I did it, and she said, okay, well, we're doing several of these. We're sending them up the chain to the director of the commercial. He's going to weed through them or whatever. And if they like what they see with you, then we'll be back in touch with you. And I said, okay, that's fine. And I hung up. And I told Miss Lou later, I said, they won't be calling me back. I said, I was terrible. And I thought I was terrible. I mean, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And besides that, I didn't really know what they wanted. She didn't give me any direction at all. Like, be wild, be loud, be crazy, be quiet, be normal. Nothing. She just said, here's your line, say it. And so I thought I did terrible. I mean, I'm not an actor. I've never been to a casting call or tried out for movie. I don't know anything about any of that. I thought I did terrible, right? Well, so yesterday morning, I get an email from the directors of the commercial that they like what they saw and they wanted to talk to me directly. And so yesterday I had another Skype call with the directors of the commercial, and they had told me to have a Coke to drink when they called me. So I had a 20-ounce Coke or whatever, and I'm talking to the directors on the Skype call, and they're giving me lines to say, and I'm saying them. And anyway, they go, okay, now I want you to pretend you're standing at a tailgate, right? You're talking to a buddy. Y'all are going to be cooking hamburgers on the grill. I want you to look at your buddy and say, there's nothing better than hamburgers and Coke on game day. And then take a sip of your Coke. I'm like, okay, you just can't beat hamburgers and Coke on a game day. And I even did the at the end. And I almost started laughing when I did it. So I don't know how the hell I did. I have no clue. Like I said, I'm not an actor. And I told the casting people and the director, I said, look, I don't know who y'all think I am or what you're looking. I said, but I'm not an actor. I said, I go in my garage and yell about football. I mean, that's it. I mean, can I memorize a line and say it? Yeah, of course I can. I'm not an idiot, contrary to popular belief. I said, but I'm not an actor, so I don't know what you're looking for. But I'm assuming they knew that when they contacted, so I don't know. So anyway, that was yesterday. I did all that with the director, and same thing. They said, well, we'll let you know type of thing. But I'm guessing I'm going to find something out pretty soon because they said they're looking to film this commercial either, in the next few weeks, before the end of the year, they said. It's in Texas, so they would fly me to Austin, Texas for a couple of days. They pay for everything, of course, the airfare, the hotel, food. They pay me a per diem, and I would have to sign a temporary contract with the SAG, Screen Actors Guild, whatever union runs actors and actresses. I would have to sign a temporary contract with them, and I would be paid according to that contract, which I think she said was like $650 a day or something. Anyway, so it is legit. Well, now, whether I get it or not, I don't know. But it would be pretty cool. Look, really the best part about it would be the people that hate Uncle Lou turning their TV on and seeing me tell them to drink a Coke on TV. That really is the only reason I'm interested in doing it, is all these people, this Uncle Lou hate parade, all these people that hate Uncle Lou, if they were to turn their TV on and see Uncle Lou on a commercial, that would make me laugh. Is really the only reason I'm interested in doing it. But like I said, I have no idea if it's going to end up happening or not. But we'll see. So I'll keep you up to date on that. But South Carolina will beat Clemson next week. I'm calling it. That wouldn't shock me. I think it'll be a good game. It definitely won't be like last year, I don't think, where what was that, 56-7 or something. I think that has potential to be a good game this year. And I said a little while ago earlier, if I'm a Clemson fan, I'm a little bit worried about that game this year. Good morning. Drink your Coke. Yeah. What's my favorite sports car? American sports car is Mustang. When I was a kid, my dad had a 1987 5.0. And of course, then they quit making them 5.0 for a while and went to 4.6. Now they're making the 5.0s again. But when I was a kid, my dad had a Mustang, and so I don't know. I've always been a Mustang guy. I've never owned one personally, but who knows? Maybe I will one day. But so yeah, my favorite American sports car would be a Mustang. My favorite affordable type sports car would be a Mustang. Tennessee will go 15-0 next year. Yeah, we know that, Thomas. Of course, they were going 15-0 this year and last year and the year before that too. So yeah, we know. Do a line of Coke with Lou is more like it. No, Uncle Lou's never done drugs. I've drank my fair share of alcohol, and most of you probably know about that. I did have my issues with alcohol for a while, but no drugs for Lou. What's up, buddy? If I had to pick an upset pick today, and this isn't much of an upset pick, I would pick NC State over Wake Forest. I don't really understand why Wake Forest is even favored in that game. I think it's only a 1.5 or a 2-point spread, but that would be my upset pick today, NC State. I think they can beat Wake Forest. Do I still consider Bama's offense average? Yes, I do. I just don't like Jalen Hurts. I'm not trash talking. I mean, does he win? Yeah. Did he look good in the last drive against Mississippi State? Yeah. I'm just not sold. Now it's not likely to happen, but if Alabama fell behind by 14 points, is Jalen Hurts passing you back into the game? I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I think look, I hate Lane Kiffin. I can't stand him, but the guy's an offensive genius. I think Lane Kiffin covered up a lot of your offensive issues when he was there, and I'm just not sold on Hurts. That's I've been wrong before. I could be wrong. Maybe Hurts passes for 3,500 yards next year. I've been wrong before. So, Dirty Bird said, "Hey, Lou Jr."
Hello.
Yeah, he tells you hello there.
Or good morning.
Tells you good morning now. Who's ranked higher than my team? Who's your team? Clemson? Well, Bama is. Oh, you think Wofford's going to beat South Carolina today? I don't see that. Carolina Luxray says, "Hey, Lou Jr."
Good morning.
Plant a garden for the whole world. We grow up, but we never stop dreaming. Here at Coke, we challenge ourselves and the status quo to produce innovations like renewable fuel, more energy efficient vehicles.
Wofford is 9-1. Well, you can't compare Wofford to an SEC team. This isn't the South Carolina team that lost to the Citadel. I mean, look, y'all know I can't. South Carolina's my most hated team. I can't stand them. If they lose to Wofford today, believe me, I'll be the first one on here doing a video where all I do is laugh for a minute and a half. And I would love to make that video, but I don't think South Carolina's losing today.
Good Night Dreams is a camp formed by athletes for athletes. We feel like we can make that impact that some people
All right, Lou Jr., they want to know who you think's going to win between Tennessee and LSU.
might not feel it, but your body is going through a change. When you drink chocolate milk, that's a great way to feel that, and that's why we're creating a refueling station at the end.
Yeah, I mean, he knows. You don't have to be a college football expert to know that, do you, dude? Tennessee's just a garbage can, right? I mean, that's Tennessee, dude. They're literally a garbage can. Yeah. You come show them. Pick up that can and bring it over here, man. Come show these people. Let them see what Tennessee is. They really need to see. Come on, man. Let's see them muscles, man. Pick that thing up. There you go. Let them see. See, Tennessee. You got to tell them. See, Tennessee is literally a trash can.
Literally.
I mean, if Lou Jr. knows, then that's just what it is.
And everyone should know.
Yeah, everyone should know.
All the way up.
Countdown to kickoff is brought to you by
They said you're a Voltard killer.
That's what I do.
Real talk, ain't it?
I know this is going to sound a little corny. I love these people that love this game so much that they come out, no matter what the weather, no matter what the time, to show how they love their
In all the years of me watching Georgia football, it was my favorite game to see. I have two answers. My favorite game I've ever been at was home against Tennessee when we tore the goalpost down. That was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It has nothing to do with the fact that it was Tennessee. I don't care who it was against. To be at a game where the field is rushed like that, and the goalposts come down, especially with Georgia, it's the only time that's ever happened in Georgia history. I'll never forget. If I live to be 500 years old, I'll never forget that. And yeah, I was young enough then. Because that was back in what, 2000? I think that was 2000. I was young enough then. I was on the field. I was one of the first ones. If you remember that game, we rushed the field with a minute and a half to go. In the game, we didn't even wait for the game to be over. They had to stop the game with a minute and a half to go to get us all off the field. But yeah, I'll never forget that. So that was the most exciting game I've ever been at. As far as watching on TV, especially over the last 15 or 20 years, it would be the 2012 SEC championship game. That's still one of the best college football games I've ever seen, even though Georgia came out on the losing end of it. One of the best college football games I've ever seen, and literally everything was on the line. A trip to the national title game. And this year's SEC championship game has the potential to be the same way. Whoever wins that game, if Georgia can beat Kentucky and Georgia Tech, which I don't see why they won't, then the SEC championship game is basically a playoff game at that point, like it was in 2012. So this year has the potential to live up to that for me too.
Wait, I have a question for them.
Lou Jr. has a question for you guys. What is it?
Whoever is a Georgia fan, how do you feel about Georgia's first loss?
In case y'all couldn't hear that, he wants to know if you're a Georgia fan, how did you feel when Georgia lost last week, their first loss? Mike says he lost sleep over it. Not good, huh? Somebody said it sucked, but maybe it'll help us. Sometimes you get better when you lose, right? You see what you need to work on, and you know what you need to fix, right?
Because then that means they're better than you.
Yeah.
So you can learn from them.
Try to get off the chair, dude, because you're wiggling the... Back this up so you're not touching the chair. You see what I mean? There you go. Uncle Lou, who do you hate more, South Carolina or Georgia Tech? South Carolina. Not even close.
That's our most hated team.
Yeah, exactly. Do you remember the first Georgia game you ever watched? No? He's been watching them since he was a baby. I mean, we would, I'd lay him on the couch I'd make him a little thing out of blankets and stuff on the couch, and I'd lay him right next to me on the couch when he was a baby. So he's been watching them. He's been watching them forever.
But it's just until you go out on the field and you feel that it feels different than the last 2 weeks.
Nick Chubb or Saquon Barkley. In terms of just pure running back, Nick Chubb is better. In terms of all-around player and athlete, Barkley is better.
But Mark Richt would be the first one to tell you. They have played with a newfound energy against Notre Dame and against Virginia Tech. And now that the stakes are higher after those games, my point is, how do they handle that success? Do they still, is it a business-like approach? I'm very excited to see Miami today against this team that they're clearly better than.
Who would win, Auburn or what did that say? Who would win, Wofford or Kansas? I think Kansas could actually beat Wofford. He said, "Nice hat, dude."
Thank you.
Auburn is your pick for the Iron Bowl. I'll make a pick on that game next week, but I think it's going to be a good one. Better pro running back, Nick Chubb or Barkley? That's hard to say. Both are really good. I don't know on that one. Okay. Look, the person about to subscribe to my channel for giveaways, I let you type that like 14 times or whatever it was, and I didn't say anything, but you're just typing it over and over and over and over again. So you're blocked. I mean, come on.
The quarterback Malik Rozier with his father had stroke and had to kind of put that on the back burner for the
Is it time for Mark Richt to lose a game? He's not supposed to. Well, I think that time is coming past. I can't see them losing today. Now next week they play on a Friday, and y'all know how I feel about Friday games. But next week they play on a Friday at Pittsburgh. I think that's a trickier game than today's game against Virginia, but I still think they will win out until the ACC title game, and then I'll make a pick on that game when it comes. But
Dad, besides South Carolina, which is your most hated team?
besides South Carolina, which team do I hate the most after that? After that, it probably changes from season to season. Sometimes it's Tennessee, sometimes it's Florida, sometimes it's Auburn. We don't play them very much.
Yes, and I think they will come up 19 or 20. That's a lot of points, though.
Thank you. Shoot, who said that? The Dog Fan 46. Thank you, sir. Those are I appreciate those kind words. Uncle Lou, do you think Baker is going to be a good NFL quarterback? Yeah, there's nothing I've seen from him makes me say he's not. I think he's the real deal. Nothing is guaranteed. I mean, always a risk, but I think he'll be the first quarterback taken. Does UAB beat Florida today? It wouldn't shock me, although I don't think it's going to happen. But this season at Florida does remind me of the 4-8 season when they lost to Georgia Southern. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye on that one. The guy that gave me, the guy that sent me this glove. Good morning. Joseph S., thank you, sir. The guy that sent me this glove just sent me a message on Facebook that said, "I can't believe you put that stinking glove on your hand." It is a game-worn glove. Nah, I didn't smell it, but I'm assuming it probably doesn't smell that good. I don't know. Do the Dogs get back in the top 4 again? Not unless they win their next 3 games. That's winning today and winning next week is not enough to get them into the top 4, barring some type of total catastrophe like Wisconsin losing to Michigan, Miami getting upset. If nothing like that happens, the only way Georgia's getting back into the top 4 is to win their next 3 games. Kentucky, Tech, and the SEC championship game. FSU or Florida. I'll have all my picks on those rivalry games next week, but if you guys have been around my channel for a while, then even though I spend a lot of time talking trash about all these other SEC teams, Uncle Lou is a huge SEC homer, okay? I always root for the SEC to win against other conference teams. So I'm telling you right now, regardless of who I pick to win the games next week, I will be rooting for Florida. I will be rooting for South Carolina. I will be rooting, of course, for Georgia. I'll be rooting for all these teams that are playing same in the bowl season. I will root for every SEC team during bowl season. That's just, I know not everybody feels that way. Some do. I know it's not a popular opinion or whatever. That's just how I feel. I'm an SEC homer. I don't watch the Army-Navy game. I mean, sometimes I'll watch the beginning, like the ceremony or whatever at the beginning, but no, I don't watch. I usually don't watch the game. Will Eason transfer? Yes, in my opinion, Eason will transfer. The team I'm actually hearing the most chatter about right now, believe it or not, is Michigan. Who would I rather play, Auburn or Alabama? It doesn't matter to me. We're going to play whoever shows up there. I don't really have a preference between the two. There's part of me that wants to play Alabama because I feel like, let's say we play Auburn and we win. Not saying we will. I'm just saying, for the sake of this conversation, let's say we play Auburn and we win. I feel like there's going to be some people who say, well, yeah, Georgia won the SEC, but they didn't beat Bama. So part of me wants to play Bama, but it really doesn't matter to me who we play.
I take 5 seconds, just send it off, and I like seeing reactions. I like making people laugh.
What would you tell your players in terms of their use?
How often does Jake Fromm air it out today? I hope he has 30 pass attempts today. We've got to develop a passing game before we get to Atlanta in 2 weeks. We've got to do better with that. All these 30-point blowouts we had where Jake Fromm had 9 and 10 passes, looking back, that was a huge mistake. I'd trade all those 30-point wins where Fromm had 12 pass attempts for 10-point wins where Fromm had 25 pass attempts. I just think he needs more experience throwing the ball. I'm a Fromm fan. I like Fromm. Fromm's the starter. Any Eason talk, I think, is pointless. The guy, that ship has sailed. Forget about Eason, in my opinion. He's gone anyway, I think. Fromm is the guy. I'm behind him. But I think, I just feel him being a freshman. Look, no matter how good a high school recruit is, there's never been a high school recruit in history that showed up at college with college experience. It's impossible. I just feel like he needs more opportunities in college throwing the ball. Hopefully, he'll get that these next 2 weeks because we've got to develop a little bit better, different, whatever passing game before we get to Atlanta in 2 weeks. Because we saw against Auburn, everybody said all year, what's going to happen when we play a team that shuts down the run? Some people said, well, don't worry about it. Fromm hit a home run in the Little League World Series. He'll be fine. I never bought into that. I need to see someone do it in college before I can fully trust and believe that they can do it. I think Fromm has the ability. Like I said, I just think he needs more opportunities, I think. If Bama gets healthy, it's over for the SEC. No one wants to hear anything about Alabama's injuries. It's absolutely ridiculous. Every team, it's November. Every team in America has injuries, and I promise no one feels sorry for Alabama. Now, I feel sorry for the individual players that are injured. I never like to see anybody get injured. It's awful. I wish it never happened. But no one feels sorry for Alabama that they have 5-star players backing up injured 5-star players, or even 4-star players backing up injured 5-star players. No one feels sorry for Alabama. You've had the #1 recruiting class for 9 years in a row. I promise you nobody cares that you have a couple of injuries, and that's not an excuse. If you lose and you try to blame it on injuries, then you're going to look like you look like an idiot. A complete idiot. Next man up. Next man up, period. Will Bryce Ramsey start for senior day? No. No, stop it. Just stop.
Stayed here for a while. Once they've got into conference play, huge turnaround under Lane Kiffin that also includes taking care of the football. Taking care of the football, both literally with no turnovers and the football aspect of coaching is not the problem. Here's the issue.
Lou, how can I contact you? If you look in the description of most of my videos, it's not on this one yet because I always add it later, but if you look in the description of most of my videos, the guy that said he wants to contact me, my email address is listed in the description of most of my videos. You might have to click back 2 or 3 videos to find one that it's on there, but it's on most of them. You can email me, and I think my Twitter is on there too. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. There's a way to message people through the YouTube thing. I don't ever check those messages because it's always spam. It's always some company wanting me to pimp something on here, and I don't do that. So I don't hardly ever even check that. But you can email me. It's crazyunclelou@gmail.com. You can email me, and my Twitter is on there too. Those are the 2 easiest ways to get a hold of me. Do I think Jonathan Taylor can get it done? Yeah, I think Wisconsin wins. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. Wouldn't surprise me if it was a close game, but I think Wisconsin can win. I've been low on Wisconsin all year. They impressed me the last 2 weeks. Obviously, Michigan has a better defense than anything they've seen this year, but I think Wisconsin can win this game. Michigan's just got no offense at all. Wisconsin actually has a better defense than Michigan. People don't realize that, but in terms of rankings or whatever, Wisconsin's like ranked 4th or 5th in terms of total defense in the NCAA, and Michigan is a spot or 2 below that. So I think this will be a low-scoring game, but I think Michigan gets it done. Does this season mean anything if UJ does not win the national title? Yes. There's only 1 or 2 teams in America whose season comes down to national title or bust. One obviously is Alabama. I don't think there's any other team, not even Clemson, can say that for us it's national. Winning 1 national title does not mean that should be your expectation every single year from then on out. Wanting it is one thing, yeah, contending for it, yeah, I get it. But look, Georgia hasn't won the SEC since 2005, okay? So 12 years. We haven't won the East since, 2012. Georgia has already met expectations this year. If you go back and look at all the preseason media polls and expectations and predictions from media days and all that, they all said the same thing. We predict Georgia will win the East and lose in the SEC championship game. Well, we've already won the East, so no matter what we do now, we've met expectations. My expectations right now for Georgia have been the same every year for 10 years. I expect Georgia to win the East and roll the dice in Atlanta. Now, expectations can change as your seasons change. If we win the East this year and lose in Atlanta, and then win the East next year and lose in Atlanta, then by that 3rd year, I'll say, okay, I'm not happy just winning the East anymore. Expectations go up and down, as your team goes up and down. But no team other than Alabama or maybe Ohio State at this point should be national title or bust. That's just ridiculous. And I know it's a lot of trash talking that goes on in here, and they say, well, if you don't win the national title, then it don't matter. Well, you're just kidding yourself. Tennessee fan loves to tell me that all the time. Tennessee fan tell me, Lou, there's no difference between Georgia being 9-1 and Tennessee being 3-6 or whatever it is. There's no difference because you're still not winning the national title. Bullshit. Bullshit. I mean, I'm sorry, Lou Jr. That slipped out, dude. Yeah, give me a high five, though. Sorry about that. I'll put $1 in the cuss jar, okay? Yeah. Forgot he was there, to be honest. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Tennessee, listen. Tennessee hasn't won the SEC this century, okay? Going on 20 years they haven't won. They haven't won since the 90s. They haven't won the East in a decade. Don't tell me there's that going 9-1 and winning the East is the same as Tennessee going 3-6. It's not. Tennessee fan would give their left arm to get beat in the SEC championship game. They haven't won the East in 10 years. So, I mean, just forget it. And I can use other examples too. If Kentucky were to ever win the East, right, and then lose in the SEC championship game, they'd be happy as hell. They'd be happy as hell. So no, it's not national title or bust. You can't tell me that there's only one team a year that has a good year. That's just not true. Clemson is not the only team in America that had a good year last year. Okay, they're just not. Lots of teams had good years. Good is a subjective term. It's based on expectations and preseason predictions. Mays and Salyer will commit. Salyer, I'm 100% sure will commit to the G. Mays, I'm about 50-50 right now, but I'm not a recruiting expert, so take that with a grain of salt. Great point in your comments with Tennessee. Blah, blah, blah. Lou, have you ever ran into Justin Bieber? I've been to a Justin Bieber concert, if that counts.
Can we do this tomorrow?
If you have heart failure symptoms, your risk of hospitalization could increase.
Joe is a Michigan fan. Well, have fun with Jacob Eason, sir. He's got all the talent in the world, so maybe y'all can get him straightened out. Les Miles to Tennessee. I don't think that's going to happen. All right, I'll check the email after this video, dude.
The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high potassium.
Mark, somebody said, don't tell me about expectations. You fired Mark Richt and he won 10 games every year. Mark Richt went 10 years without winning the SEC. You can't name one coach in America that has been with a team for 10 years without winning its conference. You can't name one. So don't tell me Georgia was stupid for firing Mark Richt, okay? If you can't win your conference, 10 years is plenty of time. Plenty, okay? You can't name one coach who's been at a school for 10 years without winning their conference. You can't name one. So miss me with that. I don't think Virginia has a chance to pull the upset today, but I do think Miami has. I think Miami could have a letdown and not play their best game, but they don't need their best game to beat Virginia. I think Miami wins. Maybe it's a little closer than the experts think, but I do think Miami wins the game. If you want Miami to lose, I think next week would give you a better chance on the road at Pitt. Who do you think will be our best pass rusher next season? That's hard. I'll have to wait and see who all's leaving and coming back and all that kind of stuff. I couldn't even make a guess on that right now. Eason will transfer out of the SEC. Yeah, he's going to Michigan would be my guess. If not Michigan, then back to the West Coast. Matt Corral or Jacob Eason? I don't. Well, Matt Corral's never. I mean, Matt Corral's in high school right now, so not sure you can compare those two. I'm excited about Grant. I like him. He plays real long. He's quick. I like him. Be nice to see him step up next year. I mean, we have a lot of defensive studs that haven't got a whole lot of playing time the last year or two because we've been loaded with juniors and seniors. I mean, Malik Herring, Robert Beal. We got Nate McBride at inside linebacker that probably get a lot of playing time next year. I mean, we're loaded on defense. I'm not worried about our defense at all. How do I feel about Ohio State? Too inconsistent. They've got 2 losses. Neither loss was close. Lost to Oklahoma at home by, I think, 14. Then got blown out by Iowa, which is inexcusable. Playoff committee went out on a limb last year, putting Ohio State in when they didn't even win their division or play for the Big Ten. What did Ohio State do? Showed up in the playoff and didn't score a single point. Got beat, 31-0. They're not doing that again. Ohio State is not getting in the playoff. They're just not. It's not happening. 2 losses. They just don't deserve it this year. Period. Who wins, Michigan or Wisconsin? I think Wisconsin wins in a low-scoring game. Yeah, I think Roquan's gone. He's one of the best linebackers in America. He's a finalist for the Nagurski Award or whatever, the best defensive player in America. He just made the list. He's a finalist for that award. The guy's a beast. I can't see him coming back. I think he'll be a first-round pick, and he's gone. I do watch basketball. I don't watch it as closely as I watch college football, but I do watch College basketball, yes. And I will be making some college basketball videos. A lot of people have been asking. So, yeah, there's no reason to stop watching Uncle Lou when football ends. Again, if you've been here for a while, I make videos year-round, not just during football season. I'll make some basketball videos. Plenty of things piss me off. You know, even when it's not football season, I'll still be making videos and entertaining you guys, I promise. No, Mark Fox is not the GOAT. He's terrible. He should have been fired 2 years ago. Yeah, Dominic Sanders is a senior. He's gone. Aaron Davis, senior, gone. Bellamy, gone. Carter, gone. I mean, we're losing a lot of seniors on defense. A couple of juniors, too. I live about an hour and 20 minutes from Athens. No, I don't need to buy all the... No, that was a lifetime's worth of wrapping paper, sir. I don't ever need to buy any more. You need some? Let me know.
Every opponent has to be treated as if they are a threat to everything you hold dear in life. Preparation never changes. It consumes every waking moment. There is no time for distractions. Cupcakes. Oh, those are just...
That's a stupid statement, Dennis Wilson, saying Georgia's only winning because of Mark Richt's recruits. Does that mean that Mark Richt is only winning because of someone else's recruits? I mean, you just sound like an idiot. You're not only that, you feel the need to make that comment about 15 or 20 times. You're painting yourself into a circle. I mean, it's absolute. That's just a retarded statement. They're Mark Richt's recruits. You know how many times Mark Richt started 9-0 at Georgia? 0.
I just remember when I was a kid in West Virginia, I just ashamed to go to school because my jeans were wore out.
I had a sweet potato cake.
Lou, we are neighbors. I live in the same city. Yeah, I live in Augusta, well, Evans.
Awesome. It was awesome.
Kansas played Kansas this week. That was the inspiration for this.
All right, I'm going to end this. That's an hour and 15 minutes. That's enough, ain't it, Lou Jr.? All right. Tell him good morning. You see him later and everything like that.
Good morning.
Yeah.
See you next time.
All right, thanks for watching. I'll make a couple more videos today. I'll definitely make a halftime video for Georgia, Kentucky and a post-game video for Georgia, Kentucky. And if anybody embarrasses themselves, you know, if Florida loses, if South Carolina loses, anything like whatever, you know I'll be on here to laugh. Enjoy your football games today, and I will talk to you guys soon.